Hello, everybody, and welcome to our final I'm going to call it a unit, but final kind of project to wrap the year up. This is going to be a kind of year-long recap that asks you to do little things here and there from everything that we've done in kind of a unique slash fun way. So if you're looking at your screen, obviously we are going to partake in a murder mystery. Again, this is for Intro to High School Math and High School Pre-Algebra. So let's jump right in. So it says, there has been a murder at Oak Park High School. Our dearly beloved mascot, Norman the Northman, was found dead on school grounds. It is up to you and your team to crack the case and find the suspect who committed the crime. And then we have our CNN article here. It says, breaking news, Oak Park High School mascot found dead on school grounds. Norman the Northman was found dead on school grounds. He was rushed to the hospital, but pronounced dead. Dun, dun, dun. It says your team has been hard at work putting together different lists to help you narrow down your search. They have compiled a suspect, location, and murder weapon list. Now it is your turn to decipher the clues in order to solve this case. So you've got your suspect list starting off. We have Miss Cunningham and Mrs. Bennett, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Beach, Mrs. Warner, Mrs. Asmussen, Miss Jennifer, Dr. Sarton, Mr. Reynolds, and Miss Cope. Your location list is the Ox Gym, Cafe, the library, the tech office, the tennis courts, and the courtyard. Your murder weapons, possible murder weapons include a MacBook, a calculator, a mask, a phone charger, and a backpack. And then how this is going to work, you're going to have evidence days. So over the next 2 weeks, you'll receive evidence and clues that will help you solve this case. Most of the clues will help you eliminate or rule out suspects, locations, and items from your investigation report. So if you open up that document, you can see it's the investigation report plus all of your evidence days. So you'll record everything in your investigation report, and then you'll work out the problems in your evidence day and then record in your investigation report. It says after 8 different evidence and clue reports are completed, you will then construct your argument on who you think committed this crime based on the evidence. So again, you have your suspect list or your location list and your murder weapon list. This is all included on your investigation report. This is where we'll mark everything. And if you notice, we've got evidence. Whoa, that was really big. I'll change my pen here. We've got our evidence days listed here, 1 through 8, and those correspond all the way down. Each day, it'll tell you what you're kind of searching for, or you can kind of decipher, okay, this is a location, or this is a suspect, or a murder weapon day. So you'll be able to figure out that. So if you want to go ahead and open up your investigation report, have that open. This first video, we're going to jump right in, and we're going to talk about evidence 1 and evidence 2. Evidence 1. Evidence 1 is comparing numbers, and it says, your detective team is investigating some rather suspicious liquids spilled in various places around the school, all of which are found on your investigation report. Each liquid was sent to the lab to be tested for any signs of human contact. It says the lab results are back. It is up to you to decode the results to eliminate locations from the investigation. Any less than or equal to symbols used show no signs of human contact. Therefore, that location can be crossed off the report on evidence 1. Any location with a greater than or equal to symbol is still a possible location that this crime took place. So as you can see, this is kind of a screenshot of your evidence 1 day. I'll go ahead and do an example with you guys to make sure we're on the same page. I'm going to go ahead and pick this negative one because that seems to give kind of, or what I've noticed is it seems to give us kind of the most trouble. So we're going to look at, okay, our location we're talking about is the cafe. Now I have to compare these two numbers and use my symbol in between to compare those two numbers. Again, negatives are going to work a little different than positives, and I think about it as money. So if you're buying, let's say, somewhere around $10. Let's say you're buying a meal. Would you rather spend $12 on that meal or $13 on the meal? Now, if you got a lot of money, hopefully it doesn't, hopefully it doesn't matter to you, but it should matter. And you always want to save some money when you can. So in this case, I would open up my mouth and I would eat the bigger number. And in this case, that bigger number is going to be negative 12, because negative 12 is greater than negative 13. And again, if we put that on a number line, if we've got 0 all the way over here, we've got negative 13 here, negative 12, negative 11, and so on and so on. Again, we want to be the farthest right. So in this case, we see that negative 12 is farther right than negative 13 would be. So again, what you're going to do is you're going to go through and fill in all of your symbols, either greater than or less than, and then any symbol, and again, I should go over this, we would read this as negative 12 is greater than negative 13. So any symbol that is less than or equal to, that can be crossed off your evidence day. So if you go back to your report, you see evidence 1, we're dealing with location. So you're going to cross off one of these. Let's just say, for instance, let's use the oxygen as an example. If we cross off the oxygen, we can go ahead and cross off all of the oxygen, because we know from evidence 1 it canceled itself out. So I'm not saying this one is the oxygen. You'll have to go through and figure that out for yourself. But any of them that have a less than or equal to can be crossed off. There might be one, there might be more than one. It's just up to the evidence to decide. So that's evidence 1. And then today you're also going to be responsible for evidence 2. Again, I'll just throw this in there. Before moving on, you need to complete the previous evidence and fill out your investigation report accordingly. It's important that you fill out that report because that kind of keeps you going and narrows things down as you move on. So let's go ahead and look at evidence 2. Evidence 2 says complete the inequality. The investigative team found DNA samples on the body of Norman the Northman. However, after testing the blood type, it did not match Norman the Northman. The blood type found was a positive blood type. Each suspect has submitted a blood sample for testing. The results are below. It is up to you to figure out the blood types depending on your answers. It says complete the inequalities below by adding a circle, open or close depending on the sign, and shade in the correct direction. What makes the statement true? Suspects that have a positive blood type will either have a closed circle or be shaded in the positive direction, to the right, or both. All other solutions have a negative blood type, open circle, or shaded to the left, and can be crossed off the suspect list in your investigation report. So anybody with a negative blood type obviously can't be our suspect because the blood on Northman or Norman the Northman was a positive blood type. So we need anything that's going to be a negative blood type we can cross off. A couple things to remember. If we have a greater than or less than, that equals an open circle. Greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, equals a closed circle. If we are here or here, we are shading to the right. And if we are less than or equal to, we are shading to the left. I will go ahead and fill in again. Let's use Ms. Cope's example for your example one. So everybody should have this one. We have x is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 12. Remember, our number we're comparing goes in the middle. Count one number bigger, 13, one number smaller, 11. Now, if I look at it, I have a positive 12. I do have a less than or equal to, so I know my circle gets filled in. And if I have a less than or equal to, I'm going to shade to the left. Another trick is if it's eating the number to the left, if it's eating the x, it's to the right. And again, if I have a closed circle or if it's shaded to the right or both, I know that they have a positive blood type. And then if they have a negative, they would have an open circle or shaded to the left, but they have to have both, an open and to the left. So in this case, Miss Cope is a positive blood type, which means she is still a suspect. Any negative blood type that you find can be crossed off your investigation report. Again, this is evidence 1 and 2. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And then next day's video, so tomorrow's video, it'll give you basically an answer key to evidence day 1 and 2 for you to check your work and kind of follow along as we go. And then we'll just keep piling evidence on and get closer and closer to figuring out this case.